Hey guys, Adrian here with It's Me Technology Firm, and we have one of our coworkers here and they had a question for me, so we're gonna go ahead and we thought it was a good idea to discuss it on camera.
All right, so the question that I've been hearing a lot in the field, and even when I'm not at work, folks will ask me, listen, I don't know if it's even worth it for me to fix this old computer from 1998, that very first laptop I had,
that old XP machine.
Or in my case, a year ago, I had my computer stolen and it was a gift from somebody, so I never shopped for a computer before. So what would you tell people who are in the market to buying a computer for themselves, PC or laptop, whatever?
Okay, so there's a lot that goes into that, and I think the best place to start off is you need to know what someone is doing before you can really answer that question. So my first question would be to you, what are you planning to do with your computer?
Well, like, let's say, for instance, somebody like my mom. All she's gonna do, honestly, is check all of her 3,000 unread emails. She's gonna want to watch Netflix because she wants to watch House of Cards, and she's gonna make her Word documents. Yeah, she wants to make her Word documents. For the things that she does.
The simple things, the basic things.
The basic things, just about everybody does.
Okay. So for somebody like her, I would recommend, number one, let's start off by saying I don't typically focus on brand because under the hood they share a lot of the same components, right? So what you need to know is the specs of the computer, what is contained in the computer, right? So for someone like her, it's not going to matter too much because any computer to a degree is going to be able to handle her capability. Now how fast it does those processes is something altogether different, and we'll kind of discuss that in a little bit, but ultimately you can get a computer for like 200, 250, maybe even to the 350 range, and it'll suffice for what she wants to do. You'll be able to browse the internet, you'll be able to check your email, she'll be able to do Word documents and stuff like that, so she'll be able to do everything she needs to do with a fairly inexpensive computer. And two of the biggest types of processors, right? And let me start off by saying, for us, the most important part of buying a computer is the processor. Okay, the processor dictates how fast the computer is ultimately going to be. You can add components, you can upgrade components, but ultimately it's the processor that's going to determine the final speed of the computer.
So how do you measure a processor? Like, my mom goes to Best Buy and, okay, processor.
Right.
What's she looking for? Like, what would it say? How could she gauge a process? What does that mean? What would that mean to somebody like her that's not computer savvy?
Right. Now, that's a very, very good question, because I find a lot of people don't even know to look for the processor, much less how to look for the processor. And what I mean by that is when you go to Best Buy or any Walmart or any place that sells computers, they'll tell you about the RAM, they'll tell you about the hard drive space and stuff like that. Most of them don't tell you the processor, not on those little stickers and stuff like that.
Yeah, because they work together, but they're different.
Like, yes, absolutely. Every piece works together to bring you that final product, but yes, each individual component is different and important in its own way. So with that, you've probably seen, or I'll start off with AMD and Intel. Those are the two major processing brands, right?
Yeah, Intel over here on the commercials all the time.
Right. And you'll see those all the time. You'll probably hear stuff like i3, i5, i7. Okay, so i3 being the low end, i5 being the middle end, and i7 of course being the top dog.
Okay. So, all right. So for her, she can get away with an i3.
Yes.
Possibly an i5, depending on how much Netflix she watches.
Right. And I do want to kind of throw in there, when you talk about watching Netflix and streaming, it is not just your computer speed that matters. Almost more importantly than the computer speed is the internet speed. Okay, and a lot of people don't know that. And there's a whole nother side that you have to worry about just in that little bubble, right? Because you need to have a good modem, you need to have a good router, and that will then in turn allow you to stream well to your devices. So have you ever looked at something and you got that little hourglass
Yep.
or the little spinning circle?
Or whatever buffering means.
But yes,
Everything is.
buffering is very common, and it's
Yeah.
typically because people don't have adequate equipment to service that or to handle that streaming.
Okay. So I'll take it a step further. So I have a brother, like my mom. Well, she's my mom. So I have my brother who is a gamer. He makes music. He goes above and beyond. To me, I think if I were to gift him with something, I would need 3 more jobs. As far as, trying to gift him with a laptop that can handle whatever. So
Right.
I know that he will be doing a whole lot more than checking emails and just watching a YouTube video. Like, he's gonna want to do stuff.
Right.
So as far as looking for a computer for him or other people who get into those type of high powered things, like how would you go about?
Okay, now for them, we need to get a little bit more technical, right? And with a gaming machine, I would suggest at least an i5 or better, preferably an i7. But what dictates anything is the financials, right?
Yeah.
How much can we afford?
Yeah.
Because the i5 should pretty much range you from about 400 to 600, or maybe even to 700, and the i7s are going to be like 700 and up, and they can get all the way up into the thousands. So
Okay, so like, all right, he would have to have an i7. So I would hear about the quad cores and the 8 cores, the dual cores. There's some that don't have cores; they
right.
just spineless.
So what is that?
What is a
I'm
core?
assuming.
And what is that? Is that the same as a processor? Is that the same as RAM, or do they work together? Like, what's the difference, and how do you measure it?
Okay, so cores. Okay, let's think about it like this. Let's say someone came, dumped 100 pounds of sand on a lawn. You had to move it from the front to the back, right? So within the processor, there are cores, and just think of it as maybe a chip within a chip. So within this one big chip, we have these little chips, and each one is a core. So we'll start off with you as one core. So you taking that dirt, moving it to the back of the house, it would take you a little bit while. It would be pretty taxing, right?
I'm not that strong.
Okay. But if I came along and I helped you and we worked at the same pace,
We can get more done a little bit faster.
we can get more done, right? That's 2 cores. Somebody else came along, that's 3 cores, etc., right? But it goes a step further, because not only do you have to look at the cores of the machine, but you'll also see like i7 quad core, but then you'll see these numbers like 2.0, 2.5, 3.0, 3.5. You see what I'm saying? So,
Okay.
and with that, you can think about it as, even though, okay, let's just take for instance me and you, right? So you would be an i7, I would be an i7. Okay, but you're working by yourself, but I have a wheelbarrow,
yeah.
right? So I can essentially move more dirt than you. I'm working a little bit more efficiently than
It's
you.
like half of a person.
Right.
So
'cause
that
that's-
would be the 3-point.
yeah,
whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That would be the 3-point something. So even though you're an i7 3.0, I'm an i7 3.5.
You're a person and a half.
I'm a person and a half. I could do a little bit more work just because I'm working a little bit more efficiently, right? So it's the same thing with that processor, that it can work more efficiently and it's going to be faster, right? So that is what that is. And I just want to throw in a quick clip and show you how that looks. Hey, ladies and gentlemen. So here it is. We're at
child desktop. So what you want to do is make sure when you're on the laptop or whatever that's in question, you want to make sure you're at the desktop screen. Now we're working on Windows 10, and Windows 10 makes it real easy to get to the screen in question. Okay, look in the lower left hand corner and you're going to see a little white window. You're going to take your cursor, place your cursor on that white window, and you're going to right click. Okay, once you right click, you're going to search for the system option. Alright, so we're going to left click the system option. So you should be on this particular screen. Okay, there's a wealth of information here. There's the Windows edition, there's the system processor, there's installed memory, the computer name, but we're here to find out the processor and how fast the processor is. So as you can see here, we have a quad-core 3.6. So the thing you need to know is starting off with how many cores. So the more cores, the better, simply put. Quad core versus 6 core, the 6 core should be better. The 6 core versus 8 core, the 8 core should be better. Okay, now once you're comparing the same type of cores, so if you're comparing an 8 core to an 8 core or a quad core to a quad core, you can know which one is faster or better by the gigahertz. Okay, so and let's say a quad core 3.6 versus a quad core 3.0, the 3.6 would be better. If you had a quad core 3.6 versus a quad core 3.9, that quad core 3.9 would be better. So just remember, you start off with the amount of cores, then look at how many gigahertz you have. Alright, we're going to go ahead and jump back to the video.
Alright, so we're back and we just finished showing you how to look up and check the processing speed of your computer. Okay, so
with all that being said, and with earlier we used the analogy of the dirt in the wheelbarrows to express what cores and the i7s and the i7 3.0 for somebody who is using large programs like the gamings or the Photoshops or the DJ softwares, right, and things like that, they need all those people with all those wheelbarrows to help them process that data.
Right. You want the most, of course, anybody. You would want the most efficient people. You would want the most hardworking people, the best you could hire, right? Because you want to make the load on yourself as easy as possible. So if you translate that into processor terms, the faster the processor, the more cores the processor, the better your system is going to run, or the faster your system is going to run.
Right.
So of course I want to get the fastest that I'm able to afford.
Exactly. So for things like that, you need something as fast as you can get. For things like my mom, she doesn't have to go that fast.
No.
She can get it, but if that's all that she's doing, it may not be economically intelligent.
No,
I'm not saying y'all are stupid. I'm just saying.
Right. No. Right.
You don't want to spend all that money if you don't have to.
It's kind of like
you got these people sitting here. They just sitting. They have nothing to do.
It's kind of like buying that Lamborghini down here in New Orleans.
For what?
For what? There's no open roads. Yeah, you hit a pothole down here. You're gonna break your car. You're gonna live in a shop.
Yeah. So is you don't need it. Get you a nice little Ford Focus.
Get you something that you're gonna use that's gonna be reliable.
Point A to point B if you're not doing much, but if you're doing a lot, I'm gonna need you to get up.
Now if you just want flash, you just want flex a little bit.
Just like, my baby got me a little whatever that is, but look at the lights.
By all means, go ahead and get your i7, go ahead and get your little, Lamborghini, Ferrari, whatever, and have yourself a ball. There's nothing there's no downside to it.
Nothing wrong with it.
But no,
you don't need to go high if you're not gonna.
Yeah, if you're not doing all the extensive stuff like you said, a Photoshop, a DJ, because when you think about people who do photography, right? When you think about people who do DJing, these are people who are going to be doing multiple things at a time. Okay, because the other thing, and I'll tie this in as well, the multiple cores help with multitasking. Now this works hand in hand with your memory. Okay, your live memory, or RAM, or your memory module, you may hear all these different terms, but it's basically memory. And there's a difference between memory and hard drive space.
Okay.
Okay, and the way I always like to kind of tell people or explain this to people is, think about it like this. So, this is my workbench, right? And what I'm working on currently is on my workbench. That's memory. My workbench would be considered memories. All my tools and stuff that I need but not need right now is in storage.
Okay.
That's my hard drive.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's there, it's ready for me to pull at any given time, but it's not what I'm using and working on right here, right now.
Okay. Okay.
Right? So, and of course, the more space I have in memory, the more efficient I can be. Right? Because if I got this small little space, let's say I got 1 gig or 2 gigs of memory, which most computers don't even come with that these days. They come with about 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? But I typically like to be at the max just because it gives me the most efficiency available. So if my workspace is large, I can keep everything pretty organized. Right?
Right.
And that's what memory helps you do.
Okay. Okay. So that memory will help you with the immediate
Multitasking and the stuff you're working
RAM
on.
is when I want to take that because I'm not using it anymore, and I want to put it over here, but I don't want to throw it away. But if all I have is a small box, but I need a garage size space at U-Haul, that's RAM. So the lower the number in RAM determines how big of storage you have to place these things over there. Am I getting that right, or?
Well, I would say more so it gives you a bigger space in your workspace to work on. Think about it like this. So let's say if you're working on, a project. If this table was any smaller than this, it would probably be real hard for you to keep your paperwork in order and together and stuff like that. But with this, at least this size that we have here, a little bit bigger, you could keep everything organized. You know where everything would be, and it's readily available, right? You're sitting here, you can pull, you can grab, you can do everything you need to do.
Right.
Versus when it's time to go to the hard drive, you're going to take it off of your table, meaning out of memory, and now it goes to your hard drive.
Okay.
So that big storage unit would actually be your hard drive.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And whenever you're not using something or you're done with that project and that project goes away, it's going to move to your hard drive because you don't need it right now.
Okay.
Then when you need to bring it up again and you double click that little icon and it brings it back up, well, now it's going back into memory.
Okay. So put this together. We talked about cores, processors, memory, RAM. So, when someone is shopping for a laptop or a PC, not only are you looking at prices, because that's important,
Right.
but you're also looking at these different things and all those words that
Yes.
are on that tab next to it. You need to be looking for your whatevers,
Your processors.
your processing.
Uh-huh.
So hopefully folks will have more of a gauge on exactly how to shop for what it is that they need.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you need help, if you're down in the New Orleans or surrounding areas, we do offer a service that we actually have a tech go out with you and help you pick out a PC. And for a service like that, it's just $60. So we try to make things affordable. And like I said, we actually go out and help you pick out a PC. And not to mention, I won't say specific names, but we can help circumvent when people try to get you to buy access stuff that you may not need,
Yeah.
right? We can tell you what's a good antivirus to get. We can tell you, do you need Office or not, or any kind of other questions that may come up because, as salespeople, a lot of times, these companies will try to get you to buy as much as possible. Oh, you need this. Oh, you need that. And try to get you to buy as much as you need. But what we try to do is we sit down, we talk with you, we find out what you're planning to do with your computer, and we have a plan going in. And if any of you do, like grocery shopping and stuff like that, if you go in a grocery store with a plan, you come out ahead because you don't come out buying half the store.
Right.
Okay.
Which you don't need.
Right, that you don't need. So, and those are the type of things that we like to help our clients with. So it's been a great service. We've had many people take advantage of it. And if it's something you'd be interested in, you can call us at 504-383-3259. or you can check us out on the website at www.ittsme.com. So I hope this has been informative for you, and thank you for tuning in.
Peace.
Bye.